With Arsenal's improvements over the last season, they've proven they can fight with Man City, but if they want to beat them, big investment is needed. And that's where today we'll get the latest on a record-breaking deal to sign Declan Rice. We'll also find out what Serge Gnabry has said about Arsenal, discuss the game-changing twist in the race for Moises Caicedo, and break down how much the Arsenal owners intend to spend. Yo, what is going on, guys? My name is Babs14 and welcome back to your boys channel, and I hope you guys are doing sensational. It's been over a week since the season's finished and the transfers are heating up. So as per, if you enjoy the content, don't forget to smash a like and also subscribe to the channel if you are new, as your boy is trying to get to 200,000 subscribers. Let's start off with Arsenal's defensive recruits. Kieran Tierney is a player whose Arsenal future is in massive doubts. Having recently turned 26 years of age, he signed a brand new Arsenal contract in 2021, which expires in 2026. In the current market of left backs, Tierney is still of a high standard. This guy was previously indispensable for Mikel Arteta, but Zinchenko has changed the game, Mikel Arteta has gone inverted, and Kieran Tierney's profile has been phased out. The fact that he only made 6 league starts last season. In the final games, even without Zinchenko, Tierney wasn't starting. Instead, Mikel Arteta started Jakub Kiwior. Kieran Tierney is simply too good of a player just to simply sit on the bench. This guy has high demands and high standards, and now in the peak of his powers, he will want to play week in week out. Here he was in Arsenal's final home game of the season. As the Arsenal fans chanted there's only one Kieran Tierney, KT was taking it all and giving the fans respect, and some have even seen this as a goodbye. Tierney has a lot of suitors, with 2 teams in the Premier League fighting for his signature. According to Gary Jacobs of The Times, Newcastle are confident of signing Kieran Tierney despite interest from Aston Villa. Arsenal want more than £30 million for Tierney. The current market is broken, every player is so inflated. When you've got Tierney signed to a long-term contract, Arsenal are under no pressure to sell. Premier League teams have a lot of money to spend. What is the max amount that Arsenal can get for Kieran Tierney? Newcastle themselves could be Arsenal's rivals going into the future. I actually think he might be better suited up for Aston Villa. Let's not forget that it was Unai Emery that signed him for Arsenal in the first place. He's clearly a big fan of the player. There's also been a development in the future of Arsenal target Ivan Fresneda, 18 years of age, playing for Real Valladolid in La Liga, who were held to a 0-0 draw with Getafe on the final day of the La Liga season, which has confirmed their official relegation. And this is going to have a consequence. As Fabrizio Romano confirms, even Fresneda's release clause is now available for €20 million after Valladolid's relegation, and that's confirmed. Sources feel Fresneda could still leave for less than €20 million in the summer. Interest but no bid from Arsenal. Dortmund strongly interested. Arsenal are looking to sign a brand new fullback, and Fresneda is all about potential. Still a teenager, having only had 1 full year in La Liga. Yes, Mikel Arteta is amazing at developing young players, but I do have a concern. How ready is Fresneda for the Premier League, and more importantly to fight for a title? 22 appearances this season, 18 starts in total, 0 goals and 0 assists. His end of season form was very hit and miss, from 6 and 7 out of 10 ratings, losing his place in the first team for the final crunch game of the season. I can see what Mikel Arteta sees in him, but when you're fighting a machine in Man City, a team that is almost perfect, do Arsenal have the space and time to develop young players? Instead, they might look for experience, and that's why you have João Cancelo. Fabrizio Romano says for Cancelo, yes, they are interested. They have had some contact and they have a very good relationship with his agents. So there was a conversation over the possibility to sign Cancelo. Cancelo would give Arsenal experience, winning experience of that, having just won the Bundesliga. He's been in the PFA team with the years. Technically, he's up there with the best inverted fullbacks in the world. Defending is not a strong point, but Mikel Arteta is building a team to attack. And having played Thomas Partey as the inverted right back, you can see the obvious plan. Arsenal want to be unpredictable, able to invert on both the left and right hand sides. I don't think he's the main target for Arsenal, but as we saw last year with Zinchenko, if Arsenal can't get plan A over the line, these guys will keep their options open. Now let's talk about Reiss Nelson, who has been named the official Premier League game changer of the season after his unforgettable cameo against Bournemouth. A goal and an assist. The goal itself was a 97th minute winner. It was beautiful scenes at the Emirates Stadium, and it was decisive. One of a few examples of Reiss Nelson turning up in the clutch moments. Think about the cameos against Forest at home, against Southampton at home. To show that level of composure against Bournemouth, to score a goal of that level in the hardest moment of the game, Nelson has the ability to rise to the occasion. And according to Sammy Mockbell, Arsenal have made a breakthrough with Reiss Nelson, and the player is now set to sign a new long-term contract. As the report claims, Nelson has agreed a new bumper deal worth significantly more than his current £60,000 a week package. Arsenal want to keep him, but you also have to be careful. Nelson may well have a successful career at Arsenal, but if things don't work out, you have to also be prepared. With the amount of teams after Reiss Nelson, this guy definitely has value, but if you give him too high of a contract, it could make a future sale very difficult because teams won't want to pay high wages. But what about ex-Arsenal player Serge Gnabry? Well, he was asked in the recent Spanish Grand Prix on if he had kept eyes on Arsenal this season, and he says, "Of course I did. I think there's a saying, once a gunner, always a gunner. So I was rooting for them, hoping for them. They had a very good season." This is not the first time Gnabry has spoken about Arsenal once again like a fan. To this day, he still supports the club. Last summer, there was links to a transfer, but eventually he signed a brand new contract until June 2026. But the rumours have not been put to bed, and despite scoring 14 goals this season, helping Bayern Munich win the Bundesliga, according to reports in Germany, Bayern are willing to sell Sadio Mane, Leroy Sané and Serge Gnabry this summer. Those guys are looking for a rebuild, and Gnabry might be surplus to requirements. Having made 22 starts out of 34 games, Gnabry wasn't a secured starter. He is now 27 years of age in the peak of his powers. His goal scoring numbers are still amazing, and as his heat map shows, he did play a lot of his minutes on the right hand side, an area where Arsenal are looking to address to help Bukayo Saka. It wasn't meant to be last year, but now Arsenal are back in the Champions League. They can afford heavy wages. Gnabry has proven himself in the past to be a game changer in the Champions League. Goals against Chelsea and Spurs. If Gnabry is indeed available, would you bring him back to the Emirates? Moving on to Arsenal's midfield developments. Man City's captain Ilkay Gundogan is out of contract at the end of this season. Having scored 2 goals in the FA Cup final, he is added to his catalogue of clutch goals. From 2 goals last year to win Man City the title, to vital goals this season to get him over the line. Time and time again, when it matters the most, this guy turns up. And there have been some reports that he's agreed to stay, but Gundogan's agent has denied that. He says nothing has been agreed with City or any other club. The recent reports are not true. Ilkay is only focused on the Champions League final. In a transfer market where the midfield area is so inflated, every single player is costing upwards of £70-80 million. When you've got the winning experienced captain of Man City potentially available for nothing, you can see why it's caught the eyes of Mikel Arteta. According to the Standard, Arsenal are looking to sign 2 midfielders this summer and are interested in Man City skipper Ilkay Gundogan. Arteta previously worked with Gundogan when he was assistant coach at Man City, and Arsenal hope the relationship with the midfielder can strengthen their hand. Arteta played a key role in persuading Zinchenko and Jesus to leave City for Arsenal last summer. This transfer makes so much sense that it's almost too good to be true. And you have to understand, with this guy being the captain of Man City, even if they win the treble, to leave them and to go to one of their fiercest rivals on the pitch would be a very bold move. And according to John Cross of the Mirror, Gundogan will demand eye-watering money to make him quit Man City. But what about PSV's Xavi Simons? A player that Arsenal do have interest in, but PSG have a buyback clause. According to reports on Holland, PSG would like to activate their buyback clause for Xavi Simons, but he is still far away from agreeing to the move. Simons' new agent Darren Dean would like the player to move to Arsenal, while Man United and Man City have also shown interest. The name that stands out there is Darren Dean, the son of ex-Arsenal director David Dean, a key figure at Arsenal that helped build the Invincibles alongside Arsene Wenger, and the idea to move to the Emirates Stadium. Arsenal have a clear link behind the scenes. PSG do have a £12 million buyback clause, but that clause states until the player agrees, PSG won't be able to sign him. If Simons is to leave PSV, he wants guaranteed minutes. And then it becomes a question for Arsenal. For the reported price tag around £35-40 million, where would a Xavi Simons fit in the current Arsenal first team? Talking of midfielders, we've got some breaking news coming out of Brighton. As Fabrizio Romano confirms, Alexis McAllister's at Liverpool. Here we go. Full agreement completed on the contract. Understand it will be valid until June 2028. On a 5-year deal. Liverpool will pay the buyout clause in the next few days, way less than a reported £60 million fee. Medical test in the next 24 to 48 hours. It's done. Fabrizio even reveals the release clause for McAllister is even lower than the reported £45-50 million. For that sort of price tag, people are seeing it as a bargain. What stopped Arsenal from making a move? Have we missed an opportunity? But in terms of Brighton, Arsenal of course have another target. We are talking Moises Caicedo, and according to a tier 1 source in Adrian Kajumba, Brighton want at least £80 million for Caicedo, who is on the wish list of Arsenal, Chelsea and Manchester United. The main battle was between Arsenal and Chelsea, and there has been another twist. Chelsea of course had 2 targets, Caicedo and Manuel Ugarte, and as it seemed they were closing into Ugarte. Out of nowhere, Fabrizio Romano confirmed that Chelsea were pulling out of the race, and Chelsea were not willing to pay way above what they consider Ugarte's market rate. Chelsea being sensible, something doesn't quite add up. Ugarte is now going to PSG, and that we've got a here we go. Having missed out on a very key target, the race for Caicedo has become even more interesting. Does this mean Chelsea are saving their funds so they can go and complete the Caicedo deal? And are they the favourites over Arsenal? Reports in Ecuador though have a different idea, as they claim for the moment, Moises Caicedo's priority is Arsenal and he has even agreed personal terms with the club. The player dreams of playing in the Champions League. However, Chelsea are willing to pay a higher fee than Arsenal. Arsenal's main focus is Declan Rice, that will cost upwards of 90 to 100 million pounds. Can they afford to sign Caicedo and Rice in the same window when they're also looking for a defender and a forward? The beauty of Caicedo is the fact that he is so versatile. His ability to play as a right back could be two birds in one stone. In the case of Caicedo, as much as he prefers Champions League football, if Chelsea offer higher wages and a higher deal, will Arsenal want to enter a bidding war? And that price tag could get even higher, as further reports claim that Brighton have agreed to sell Moises Caicedo this summer and want around £100 million for the midfielder. However, they are happy to lower that price if a player they want is included in the deal. The fact that Chelsea have a player in Levi Colwill that Brighton want to sign, it gives Chelsea another upper hand. But in terms of price tags, how much should Arsenal be paying? Is Moises Caicedo worth more than £80 million? But then you have the price tag of Declan Rice, and people are going to argue, why is he worth more than Moises Caicedo? But you have to also understand perspective. Rice has done it for a longer period of time. He's proven himself more than one season. He's also played at the Euros and the World Cup, proven himself on the international stage, as well as being a Premier League club captain. On top of the English tax, his value is always going to be higher. But in the race to sign him, there have been some really surprising reports. The main one being from Jose Felix Diaz, who claims the Bayern are about to close the signing of Rice. That report there caused quite a bit of a meltdown, but Fabrizio Romano has calmed things down, and he confirms no breakthrough in negotiations for Declan Rice at this stage. Nothing has changed with Bayern, Arsenal or any other club. Arsenal will bid after the final. Bayern are interested, but nothing is done or close yet. All the focus is on that UEFA Conference League final, and that of course is in a day's time. Fiorentina versus West Ham. Once that is over, things are definitely going to heat up. That reported £90+ million offer is going to be made, and then it's all over to West Ham. Are they going to accept? What other teams are going to make an offer? And how quickly can Arsenal find an agreement? Moving on to the other Arsenal news today, and starting off with the future of an Arsenal youngster whose loan has just expired. We are talking Mexican youngster Marcelo Flores, as reports confirm he will return from his loan spell from Real Oviedo. Arsenal have no plans to sell the player and have recently extended his deal to 2025. The player and club will analyse the future, with another loan being the most likely. 13 appearances, 7 starts, 0 goals and 1 assist. As you can see towards the end of the season, this guy barely got a minute, on the bench game after game. On the left hand side, Arsenal already have Gabriel Martinelli and Leandro Trossard. I'm not sure Flores can make it at the Emirates, but a loan spell away can definitely increase his value and allow Arsenal to make as much money as possible. Talking of loan spells coming to an end, you've also got Folarin Balogun, who was on the score sheet once again in the final Liga game of the season. He has sent out a farewell message to the Rem fans, saying, "I leave hoping I was able to repay the love, trust and belief you guys put in me." This might be one of Arsenal's most successful ever loan spells. 37 league appearances, 21 goals and 3 assists. He ends up as the 4th highest goal scorer in the league, with 5 more goals than Lionel Messi. The next step is deciding his future. Arsenal will want to keep him, but this guy wants to play week in week out, against the idea of another loan spell. In the current transfer market where strikers are so expensive, how much will Arsenal be able to demand for Folarin Balogun? Talking of finances, the Arsenal owner Stan Kroenke has increased his net worth from 10.5 billion to 12.5. The Arsenal owners are getting richer and richer, and all their teams seem to be doing well. Not only have Arsenal had their best points tally since 2004, you've even had the NBA franchise, the Denver Nuggets, get all the way to the NBA Finals. Let's not forget that only a few years ago the LA Rams also won the Super Bowl. Often these guys get criticised, but they're clearly building something. Now Arsenal have only ever made one signing above the price tag of £60 million, Nicola Pepe in 2019. This window is going to break that record, maybe even twice, with all the reported targets from Declan Rice and Moises Caicedo and so many others. I want you guys to comment down below. For Arsenal to win the Premier League title next season, how much money do you believe Arsenal will need to invest? But that is the video there and there, so hopefully you guys have enjoyed. If you have, don't forget to smash a like and also subscribe to the channel if you are new. If you want to follow your boy in all of his social medias, then the links are down below in the description.